How's it going, everybody? Nice Tuesday afternoon here. A little snowing out in here in Blacksburg. So today I want to talk about an interesting situation that the Lions are in. So right now we're 7-6, still in the playoff hunt, and it's very realistic that we could sneak our way in and we could not. Right now we have to hope that the Falcons lose 2 of the next 3 games, because if they win one of them, then they're in, even if we win out, which is really which makes that one game very frustrating, because you know what game I'm talking about, the one where Golden Tate stretched out to the 1-yard line and didn't quite get in, and the game ended off an officiating mistake. That's ridiculous. And right now it's costing us playoff position. So, why it makes it interesting? I think Jim Caldwell is on the hot seat right now. The team isn't playing well in big games. Every time we seem to face a team above 500, we put forth our worst effort. We seem to beat the teams we're supposed to beat just barely. We never play a good game. Like against the Buccaneers, 4-8 team, we let them hang around and let them come back from a 14-point deficit. Good football teams aren't supposed to do that. Not playoff contending teams. We definitely have the talent to compete for a playoff position, win a playoff game, to at least be an upper mid echelon team in the NFL. But you got to play better in games like this, because you know what? This poor play, it translates into losses. That's what translated into the Steelers' loss, the Vikings' loss, all the losses of these good teams. And Caldwell hasn't proven that he can beat these good teams throughout his career. Even in 2014, we went 11-5, but every good team we played, such as the Patriots, we got blown out. We should have beat Dallas that year. That game was stupid, but otherwise, even with a pretty talented team, we should have been better than 11-5. And every time we face the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, and it's a big game, we take in this letter of the alphabet. We are. And you know what? The last game of the year, Rodgers comes back. I'm a little worried. We need the Panthers to beat the Packers this week, so the Packers are out of playoff contention, and therefore they won't rush Rodgers back, because they won't. Why would you rush him back if you're not going to make the playoffs, if you know what I mean? So, me saying that about Caldwell, about him being on the hot seat, which is very realistic, it'll be interesting to see if they go 10-6, what will happen. Here's what I think is the worst case scenario for the Lions. I think if they lose one of these next 3 games, Caldwell's gone, because you should win all 3 of them. However, if you win all 3 of them, you finish 10-6 and you don't make the playoffs, then I'm not certain what the Fords are going to do, what Martha wants to do. Because it seems kind of weird to fire a 10-6 coach, and given the way Martha Ford thinks, she loves Jim Caldwell, so she'll find whatever excuse there is to keep him. People from the outside will say, oh, well, he went 10-6, so therefore he must be a good head coach. Let's keep him around. I hope Bob Quinn doesn't think this way. I hope he has more power to do this, but I don't think he does. I think the Fords do too much by themselves, and it's reflective of how the team has performed over the past 30 years or whatever it is. I mean, they've won 1 playoff game since the Super Bowl era. You know how pathetic that is? It's all thanks to our ownership. So anyway, if we go 10-6 and make the playoffs, but then we get blown out in the first round, I think Caldwell's gone. Because the idea is the last message that is sent is that, yet again, we're losing to a team that's above 500, losing to playoff teams, getting blown out, being non-competitive. Like last year in Seattle was a disgrace. If we have a game like we did in Seattle last year, where everyone just dropped the ball and we let Thomas Rawls run all over us, Caldwell's got to go. I think Jim Bob Cooter's going to go too. In terms of new coaches, they've already started to look at some. Tavon Austin could take that spot. He's our defensive coordinator. We might go after McDaniels, the offensive coordinator of the Patriots, or Patricia, the defensive coordinator of the Patriots. Bob Quinn, who used to work with the Patriots, bringing in these Patriots. So I wouldn't mind bringing in the Patriots coaching staff. I mean, they learn from the best. I think it'd be a big upgrade. And I say all this with respect to the fact that Caldwell is not the worst coach in the league by any means. I don't even think he's that bad. But I would say he's average. I think the Marvin Lewis comparison is spot on. making it to the playoffs, getting talented teams, and just doing nothing with them, but losing in the first round. I'd say he's the Marvin Lewis of the NFC. So he's an average coach. Let's just face it, he's average. You know how long the average coach lasts in the league? 4.3 years. The median is 3 years. I got that from Business Insider. So Caldwell is an average coach. He's been there for about 4 years. Certainly not the worst coach in Lions history. I think there's some good things about Caldwell, but at some point you got to realize this guy is not going to take you to the championship. This guy isn't elevating the team. He's shown no signs of doing it. You got to get these guys to get up for these big games against these big teams, and every time it seems like we need a win, we don't get it, unless it's against a 2-8 team. I mean, with the talent we have, we should be able to beat those teams. So, worst case scenario is the Lions go 10-6 and then don't make the playoffs, because then you don't have that bad last impression. That worries me a little bit. And I heard Mike Valenti talk about this, and he's, like me, he wants Caldwell gone, but he's rooting against the Lions to do so, such as rooting against them in Tampa Bay. And look, there was not much to cheer about in that game. I mean, you beat a sorry Buccaneers team by 3 points. Your team's pathetic. It really is. Or they're just not living up to their capabilities. The injury excuse is over, because every team has faced injuries, and we haven't been able to replace the left tackle position when Decker was gone. There's a lot of things we need to fix. So I'm not saying I want us to lose the last 3 games by any means. I want us to keep playing hard, obviously, and hopefully get a playoff position, but hopefully that doesn't blind the Fords from realizing the situation we have on hands. The fact of the matter is we were 10-6 probably because we have a pretty easy schedule, and we beat a lot of easy teams. Beat a good team in the last 4 weeks, I would consider keeping Caldwell, meaning you win a playoff game. If you don't make the playoffs, you still got to go, but I don't think he will. So I'm not rooting for this team to lose, but if they do lose, it's the end of Jim Caldwell. I think another coaches like Patricia or McDaniels would be a great possibility. All right, thank you guys for watching. We got the Bears this Saturday. Should be a good interdivision matchup. Go Lions!